welcome back to another episode of Fully Engaged. How we doing, Briosha?
Doing pretty good.
We have a really, now I'm going to use the word cool, because it's not a trite word with this couple.
No, I would definitely describe them as
They're
very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the coolest couples I know.
Yeah, Mo and Kirsten, they just have this vibe to them, both as individuals, but then as a couple that just creates this essence that the two of them bring together.
1000%. And everybody who knows them adores them, loves them, and can learn something from them too.
They didn't get married too long ago. It's just a couple years ago, and they had a Viking wedding, like a legit Viking wedding that we're going to get the details of. This is super cool. As we're prepping for our wedding too, we're taking notes. You know,
maybe we'll do a Viking wedding.
Yes,
Who knows?
We just had Mike and Lexi Rogers, and we're taking notes on their Caribbean experience wedding, and now we're going to get the Viking stuff.
They went to Paris?
Paris for the engagement.
Okay.
And then the wedding in St. Lucia. Yeah, they went all out. I love it. All right, a little bit more about Mo and Kirsten, though. They both are very well regarded in the physical wellness, but also the mental wellness and spiritual wellness. They are two giants and have helped people from all different walks of life in both, their physical fitness that you're going to find. We're going to talk about the foundation that Mo was a part of and the group that he was a part of that, basically was fully designed to help veterans who lost a limb or who had some sort of disimpairment when they came home, and figuring out how to get them in the gym, doing more than I can do, and they're doing it without legs. It's wild. We're gonna get into it. It's awesome. And Kirsten runs the philanthropy, I don't know even what I'm gonna call it, but you run philanthropy for Mr. Beast.
Well, I do the programs.
She runs it.
No.
All of it.
He told me that, and I thought that was crazy.
My whole point is they are cool, they are badass, they're a couple we want to get some advice from. For those of you who are listening to our show for the first time, we got engaged a couple months ago, and our goal is to interview 100 couples before we get married, because we want to have an intentional relationship done on purpose. We're going to learn from these two tonight. Please give a warm welcome for Mo and Kirsten. Fantastic. Do we do hugs? Do you think we do hugs?
Yeah, of course we do.
That feels
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
We're just walking you up and just go take
Of course we
a seat.
hug.
Hi,
Yes.
brother.
Hello.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Should we start with the question we always start with?
Sure, you go for it.
How'd you two meet? Just paint the picture. How did the stars align to make it happen?
Well, unlike the two guests you just had on, I had 0 days to be single. I had actually literally just moved out of my ex-wife's house the day before we met.
Wait.
Wow.
Wait.
Yeah.
I need you to say that again.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It was, similar story. Me and my ex-wife we were best friends, but there was a loss of connection there. So
Right.
it was actually a beautiful divorce. But I had gotten this really rad loft in Dallas. I had a plan. I was going to get an RV. I was going to go peace out on the weekend, just be a vagabond and explore the world. And I moved out, and we have two mutual friends that were throwing this New Year's Eve party in this little really rundown town in Southern California. And last minute, probably 2 weeks prior to that event, I looked at my ex-wife. She's like, I think I'm going to go to that. And she said, you should go have fun. And literally, I'd moved out of the house the day before or that day, and then flew out to California the next day, and then we met, and she completely ruined my plan.
That's wild.
You're the worst, Kirsten.
Hey, well, you know what's crazy? I think the universe always has a plan for you, especially when it comes to your person and when you're ready to meet your person. I think so many people can look at that and be like, oh, well, he wasn't ready. He should have waited. But only you truly know, right? You and God.
Yeah. And she tells it much more fluidly and beautifully than I do. I kind of man it. So I'll let her explain how the whole thing went down. But yeah, it was literally as soon as we met, there was a familiarity, and we knew, we both knew there was something very unique about this person. And it was as if we had known each other before. And we know we did. We've done some different things and know that we have been together before this life. So, but yeah, when we met, man, it was damn. I saw her, and there was this uniqueness about her that I'd always wanted, that you see people that's the one. Like, that's what I want.
Right.
And then I saw her, I'm like, oh shit, here you are.
Well, I think something that Kirsten does really well is she's totally just herself.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I noticed about you immediately. Like you just embody who you are, and you don't care who cares.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's yeah, it was really thank you. It was very unique though.
Yeah, the shorter part is there was a small hotel in like 90 minutes southeast of San Diego, California. Like there's nothing out there. I tell people there's probably 2 full sets of teeth in the entire town, literally. And
Cumulative.
yeah, I'm sure they're great people, but yeah, it's but it's one of those towns where you drive through and like Breaking Bad was probably filmed here or made after this place. So, but it was this old little hotel that was built in I think 1907. And they had hot springs inside the hotel.
Whoa.
And that's why our friends had found this place and they rented out the whole space and they just threw this New Year's Eve party. And I show up and I knew 2 people, the guys that ran it and one other person. And then she walked in and I'll let you go from there.
Well, I wasn't gonna go. I had okayed the invite to also include my ex-boyfriend who had cheated on me, wasn't the greatest person, and he was bringing his new girlfriend.
Ooh.
And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to spend New Year's Eve with him and her. That's not how I want to bring in the new year. However, I had a huge amount of friends who were going to be there. I called on 2 of my best friends and I was like, look, can you come to this and just at least be there? Actually, 1, and then he brought Jara, and Jara is now my best friend. Second wife. It's a long
I have 2
story.
wives. Not
Long
Mormon.
story.
How did we not go over this before we got you on the relationship show? That's a detail.
Yeah.
Jokes, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't want to go there. My friend James was coming. He's bringing Jara. Okay, great. I have a good handful of friends. I have them there. It's going to be fun.
Moral support.
And I remember just walking in, and I was kind of in this like poo-poo mood, you know, and I opened the door was a lot lighter than I expected. And he was at the end of the bar getting some water, and I see him, and he doesn't look like he's a Yakumba person, and he didn't look like somebody I knew from this friend group. And he smiled, and he had all of his teeth, and I'm like, okay, who's this guy?
That's a plus.
Yeah, he's caught my eye. Okay.
Yes.
And it's a small motel, and so we rented out the entire thing with all of our friends. So there was nobody else except us. And the dining room was set up in a way where I was sitting on one side, Mo was sitting on the far side, but we were facing each other. And then I had James and Jared right here, and I'm like, who is this guy? And they said, oh, that's Mo. And I'm like, oh, great, you know him. And they're like, no, we just met him, but he's one of us. And you know, the validity of friends saying, okay, he's a good guy, he's one of us, was a check mark. And I said, if he's a man, he'll come get me.
Ooh.
Oh.
Out loud to them?
To them, yeah.
Yes, that's
And
cool.
by the end of dinner, he came around and he introduces himself, and I'm roasting. My cheeks are red. I'm so hot because the theme of the party was the animal onesies. And so I'm sitting there in a hedgehog.
That's what did it.
Hot.
I was like, who's that hedgehog? That's why I talked about the uniqueness. It was like,
Oh.
hedgehog. It wasn't. I'm joking.
Oh, I wish we had a photo of that right now.
I bet you've never been out with a hedgehog.
Never.
If you could re-choose, what would you be now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the hedgehog is pretty good. I still have the hedgehog.
It works. The hedgehog works.
It's a fun one. But I'm like dripping sweat, and he's now introducing himself, and I'm like, okay, this is going in a good place. So I immediately go back to my hotel room. I mohawk my hair back. I put my wide leg pants on, a little top, and I walk back in. And we had 2 friends who were DJs, and so now the lights are dark, or the dinner is moved out, and dancing begins. And I see him sitting down at one moment, and I'm like, what is this? What is he doing? He's sitting down already. And so I go get my water bottle that's already full of water, and I walk past him to go fill up my water bottle. And I'm just looking at him like, oh, you're sitting down already? And he says, I'm not ready to shoot my pheromones at you yet.
Oh!
I don't remember saying that.
He did. I would not make that up. But then second time I walk past, he puts out his hand and stands right up, pulls me in, and it's like this salsa EDM song, and he just starts dancing with me. And that was something that was so important to me, is to find somebody who loves dancing just as much as I do, because it's such a big part of my life, and it was such a big part of healing my history, like everything. And
How you
I just
express
love
yourself.
it. Yeah, expression and whatnot. And so to have him be able to just move, or even just want to move and want to dance, was incredible. And then right before the ball drops, we kiss, and I immediately pull back, and I look at him, and I said, "You came back for me." And it was that familiarity and that feeling that I can't explain, but it felt familiar.
Right.
It felt like I've known him before, not
Yeah.
in that human form, and that's what he was talking about. Like we've kind of figured it out, but not in the human form, but in the spiritual form and in the soul form. And
Your souls recognized each
yeah,
other.
and usually every man would be like, "This is weird. I'm gonna run for the hills." That's awkward to hear, but he just looked up at me and he said, "I'm here. I'm here now." Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's why you have a live audience. You gotta give the awes. That might have been our first
was good.
official awe from the
Who
audience.
was that?
Okay, hello. We're gonna do this before we get into all these answers. Like, this is a new show, as you know, folks are watching. So I think we just came up with a couple new segments. Hunter, you gotta write this down. We gotta track when we hear a really good pickup line. So if we're gonna ask hundreds of couples, right?
my
If we're gonna ask hundreds of couples about how they met, when we get a pickup line that's that good, like I want to rank them in 4 months or whatever. So let's restate that for the camera.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. Actually, let's have him say it. Yes, say it.
Wait,
In
what
your sexy voice,
what did I
please.
say? What did I say?
Oh, I said, yeah, I'm here.
No.
No,
Oh, the what?
no, that was after. Into this
Oh.
camera, the pheromone,
Oh.
the dancing.
Pheromone line.
No, yeah, shit. All right, ready? Hold on,
Oliver.
hold on. It's
Why aren't you dancing?
I'm not ready to shoot my pheromones at you yet.
Boom!
Dance for me.
Hey.
Dance.
We're gonna call it the Riz moments for our Gen Z listeners.
And what's funny is some of them are good and some are bad. Last week we had someone and they gave their first line to each other, the pickup line, and he was like all getting ready to say hi to her, and he goes up. It was Mitch and Maddie Matthews, and Mitch says, "How are you doing?" And she goes, "Nothing." I mean, it was awful, right? Like
Just
that
so
was their
nervous.
first thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, much smoother than Mitch Matthews.
Thank you.
Okay, let's just pull back on all that. So you kiss at midnight, and he says, "It's me. I'm here."
I'm here.
I can't believe that. That's wild. I totally understand that though.
Well, and the thing is, and we've talked about this. I wasn't in that space. Like she has cracked me open in so many ways, as far as like with the spiritual realm, with realizing there's so much more than I thought there was, and we all think there is, and we know there is now. But like, if you'd have known me then, I don't say that. You know what I mean? That wasn't
You don't
something
say
that I
that
was
to all the girls.
right. I didn't.
Yeah.
That, but it was just. And I mean, I literally just moved out of my ex-wife's house. Like, what am I?
Right.
This wasn't the plan. But as soon as I kissed her, we kissed before midnight, and then we kissed again at midnight, and then a lot more after that. But the first one,
kiss.
yeah, it just felt different. You know, like it did. It felt familiar. It felt like this was the right thing to do. And it was almost like like I remember when I went to kiss her, it was almost like something was pulling me towards her.
Wow.
You know, the words "I'm here," Connor said that to me a few times. And you said it in that same context
Oh,
that you
like,
said that
yeah.
to her. And it's like this feeling of, you're him. Like, wow, I recognize you. Like, I
Yeah.
know you. So that's beautiful. And that's insane you guys had that the first day you met.
It's
Yeah.
cool.
And
And our friends got to see that. And well, he didn't know them then. He knew two of the people, but
Yeah.
to have your friends witness your first meeting of the man that is your partner in life
Yes.
Right.
is really cool and
Yeah.
really special.
Yeah. Well, I love that comment too of the validation or the approval of he's one of us, right? And I like that it wasn't he's really cool. This is what he does. This is what he's up to. It's this. It was just that note of like, hey, he's someone that we consider like in our circle, in our friends. And I think that says so much for people that might be dating out there too, of like, if your friends that you hang out with aren't at the level of people that you would want to marry and date,
then you got to hang out with different people. You got to be around different friends to create that type of reaction, and it creates moments like that for that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a beautiful night all around. Like, and finish the story, please. This is important.
The more kissing part, lots
well,
more.
no.
Oh, okay.
He, New Year's happens, everything is starting to shut down, and he's like, do you want to come back to my room? And I said, I'm not sleeping with you. So let's get that out of the way. This is not something that's happening. He was like, that's fine, just come hang out and like cuddle and.
Well, before that, but the thing is, you like, and again, we went from doing that to fast forward a month or so in 30 minutes. At one point you said, hey, if we date, just know that I do want to get married.
Oh, well, that was in your room.
Was it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Or in my room.
No, it was we were still in the dance floor.
Oh, maybe I said it in media. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
it
you
was
said it. I mean, it
On
was a
the
long
dance
night.
floor.
We were there
If
for
you're
a
gonna kiss me
while.
once,
Yeah.
just know I want
Yeah.
to get married.
But
Yeah.
she was like, it just came out. She said, hey, if whatever happens, whoever I date, I want to get married. I don't want to just date around. And I said, okay, that's fine. I mean, I said, well, just so you know, I'm going through a divorce right now. I just moved out, and
A month ago.
No,
you know,
the day
yesterday.
before.
Oh.
No, yeah, the day before we met.
Okay, thank you.
And I said, I love my ex-wife. Like, we were best friends. We've been together for 10 years. She knows me better than any human. And I will always say I love her. Anytime I'm on the phone or if we're in person, I will not leave the conversation without saying I love you. And understand there's no sexual connection, but this is my person right now. And if that's a problem, this isn't going to work. And she said, no worries. I'm like, cool, let's go.
Wow.
So, I mean, and again, because I needed to be, we talk about being authentic, we talk about being real, you know, and it just felt like, again, we were so familiar with each other already within the first few hours of knowing each other. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess around with this. Like, you're gonna know straight up right now who I am, what's going on, and if you want to pursue this, we want to see what's up after this. Cool, let's go.
Yeah.
But I know who I am, and I know that if the woman I want to be with next is going to appreciate and value a grown man that says, hey, I have love for someone that I'm not in love with anymore, and you need to be able to respect that. Because I've been in relationships before, I think most of us have, where the other person is so damn jealous of ex-boyfriends, girlfriends, whomever. They're like, it has nothing to do with that. And she has such a confidence in herself that I saw immediately, and then what this possibly could be, I was like, oh man, cool, let's go.
Well, I thought it was interesting because right at the very start when we were talking, you said you had just finished or were in the middle of a beautiful divorce, right? Like, who says that?
Most
Run.
people don't.
Yeah, like you've heard the saying before, like no good marriage ends in divorce, right? But you said a beautiful divorce, which obviously helped you be in a position the next day to where you were healed enough or open enough to do that. But go into that in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, I mean, we were together for 10 years in total. We were together for 5, then married for 5, and just lost the intimate connection. You know, we were great business partners. Our life ran like a well-oiled machine. Everything went well. You know, we had fun together, all this stuff, but there was literally no sexual connection once we got married. Actually, it started before then.
Yeah,
So,
why do you think that left?
so she was very Christian.
Yeah.
And I was the first person she'd ever been with, and like it was fine for a while, and then a couple years into it, she said, "Hey, I can't do this." She said, "I cannot do this if I'm not married." And I said, "Okay, I'll 100% respect that," but that just shut off everything. So, and then it just never came back, and like she would mention that she would want to. I'm like, okay, well then I need to know that, you know, it can't just be all on me, and also you have to recognize when I walk into the room. You know, if you're this stoic human that doesn't, like, it just doesn't happen this way. And it just never came back. So, and we recognized that. And we tried counseling for a year. We went to different things, and it just didn't work. And then finally, it all came to a head. We were actually in Southern California at a conference, and we started getting into it at the house. And I was like, I don't want to talk to you this way. And she looked at me, and she said, I think we know what we need to do. I'm like, yep. So we both went our separate ways that day. And then, like, it was hard. It sucks, you know. It hurts to see that you're hurting the person like that. But like it was like we went to rooms to go together to get my furniture for my new loft, and it was a fun game for us to tell people we're getting divorced, just to see the expression on their face, because it was like I was with my best friend, And we're like, and they were like, where are you guys moving to? Or what's going on? I'm like, oh, no, we're actually getting divorced. This is for him. Like,
Wow.
just, and it was, so there was a bit of levity in it, but also we had a lot of hard conversations. But what we would do is anytime either one of us started to raise the voice or start to get heated, we would stop, walk away, come back, and then, so that's why I say it was beautiful, because we were able to cry together, we were able to heal together, and by the time it was done, it was like, cool. Like, who you dating? Who you with? What's going on?
Wow.
Yeah. Now, she wasn't too stoked when Kirsten moved to Dallas because
Yeah, it was quick.
it was quick. She moved to Dallas 4 months after we started dating, and the problem was I didn't get a chance to tell her. I was in California with her, and she posted a picture on Facebook that said, I'm in love and I'm moving to Dallas.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and so
Come
one
on,
of
Kirsten.
our mutual friends, I know, damn it, one of our mutual friends saw that, and Alex calls me, and she is like, are you going to California this weekend? Yep. Is Kirsten moving to Dallas? Fuck. Yep. Is she moving in with you? I said, yes. And she was like, okay, and then hung up the phone like, fuck. So that wasn't a good day. And she wanted nothing to do with her for a while, but then it took a little bit. And then once she eased into it and they became friends, and then it was good. Like, again, when you handle things, I wanted to tell her, I didn't get a chance to because our friends jumped the gun. But, I found in relationships that the more you can just go into it and be straight up and honest, it's going to hurt somebody, but you have to do that. And that realness helps with the healing process as well.
Now, I think that's really mature. And, one of the things on this show is discussing there are a lot of different dynamics, right? There isn't just a cookie cutter, this is the right way of, you've got past relationships or kids or blended families or whatever it might be. And so I think the consensus is there isn't a right answer, right? That every situation is going to be different and you feel that out. Now, I love seeing the speed of the New Year's, few months later, you're there. But let's actually go to you two as individuals now before we jump into kind of seeing what makes your relationship work now. Both of you have pretty interesting upbringings. Let's start with you, Kirsten. I don't even want to mess it up here. So just tell me, what was your childhood like and what sort of adversity did you have?
I had a single mom who was raising us. I have 2 older sisters and an older brother. My older brother was a drug addict and alcoholic. He's since been clean for many, many years now. But he didn't make our lives easy at all, and it was pretty difficult and pretty horrific at times. But I danced. And to pay for tuition, I would clean the studio. And if big emotions would happen or things would happen, and I wouldn't exactly know how to handle those, but my mom would just say, just go dance. And so I'd, be trucking back to my dance studio and
you
open
do
the doors.
intuitive dancing.
I do, yeah. So just putting music on and allowing the emotion to move through you, and it's not about choreography. It's not about the 5, 6, 7, 8 make it look perfect. It's messy. It's not perfect. It's not pretty, but it allows you to move emotions through your body that usually get stuck because we usually tend to want to look the other way. So that was a huge moment. It was a big moment, but it was a huge thing in my life where I was able to really understand later in life how movement and how dance can heal you, and help you work through all of those situations.
So I've seen a video of you dancing before. Mo shared a video with us, and it's really incredible.
We really should be having while he's talking about this.
We should show it.
You two, she's already on it. He's gonna play it. And I just messed up my he's and she's 3 times. I just called him she.
Yeah,
Here we are.
it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
How did you figure this out?
Huh?
Yeah, go for it.
How did I figure it out?
Yeah, like how did you just start dancing like that intuitively?
Well, dance, I was doing ballet and jazz and hip hop and the formal side of dancing. But when I would just need to go move my body and be upset or be angry and put on the music, it's just now I can articulate it. Then I wasn't able to. I just put music on and dance. Lyrical was something that spoke to me because you're dancing with the emotion and to the words rather than to the music and to like this beat. right?
Yeah.
You're with the beat, but you're dancing with the music rather than on top of the music. So to me, a lot of dance when it's choreographed is you're dancing on top of the music.
Oh.
But intuitively, how I view it and how I experience it is you're creating a relationship with the music, and you're allowing the music to move you and move the emotions through your body. And so it doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to be a set tempo. Like, it could be fast, it could be slow, it could be, you're just dancing to the music itself, but the music is moving you.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing you were able to use that throughout your whole life to
Thank you.
work through your emotions, work through some things that were going on in your life at the time.
Oh, here we go.
It's gonna
Can we get
into it in a
music
second.
going?
Is that harmony? Maybe.
That's harmony, yeah.
Oh. She sends this to me 2 weeks into our dating. And I just got back from seeing her, and she sends me this. I'm like, really?
She didn't show you those moves? New
No,
Year's night?
well, yeah, not in that way, but
That's my friend. That's a
Yeah,
friend.
who's this guy?
That's a friend of
Yeah.
Jeremy. He knows him.
yeah.
It's really cool.
So she showed you this video, and I remember what you told me is you said, she's the one.
Oh yeah.
Was it the video that did it?
Well, I'd actually yes, but that was I'd just gotten back from seeing her the first time after we had met, because I was in Dallas, she was in San Diego, and I flew back to see her 2 weeks after, and we had I told her I loved her that day. Like, I flew back, we went to dinner, went back to the Airbnb, and then I already knew, because we had talked so much, we talked every day and shared a lot of things, and we had so many similarities that it was just like there was no denying this thing. As much as I think maybe internally was like, this is going way too fast. I'm literally not even divorced yet, but I can't. Like, I'm not gonna mess this up. Like, this is too perfect. Her damn screensaver was the motorcycle that I was going to build in my truck, basically. And I was like, how is this possible? Like, it was all the little things like that, like little things that it's not this surface level shit that you're like, I love you, this new love. It's like, this was so deep and intricate that it couldn't be denied. And I was like, dude, I can't wait. As soon as I had the opportunity to, I told her. And I get home and she sends me that video. I'm like, come on, dude.
Game over.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to ask you a real question here, because we have felt similarly of how we met in the early phase. It was just like,
So many synchronicities.
Yeah.
you literally would feel like you were just saying no and giving the middle finger to above if you were like gonna walk away from it at the beginning,
Yeah.
right? But there comes that point where, like, hey, you might know that, but you still are gonna have your struggles or challenges or tough conversations. You're gonna
Right.
butt heads. So how did you butt heads and actually have it be, maybe when it wasn't all amazing, but still knowing underneath that it was like, yeah, the stars couldn't align more perfectly with this.
Go ahead.
Were you gonna, okay.
We are fortunate where we've done so much work separately before we even met that when we came together, it was easier to have those conversations. They're still hard, and if something does come up, we talk about it immediately. Maybe not if we're at a wedding and we're not talking about it at the wedding, but we'll talk about it soon after that, so it doesn't start to fester and it doesn't become something that it doesn't need to be. Being able to share and express openly and know that the person that you're speaking to isn't going to jump down your throat, isn't going to be big and angry, and I'll shut down just because of my past. Big and angry is scary to me, and I just clam up. So being able to also share that with him, hey, this is how the hard conversations need to go for me. This is how I process things. This is how I understand the world to be, and I would love if you could also understand that when we're having those hard, difficult conversations.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a lot. Like, we've had, I can count on one hand the amount of conversations we've had, and I've got a couple room in the hand still. Like, I think our first hard, everything was hard. It was after you moved to Dallas. That was the first one, so it was a few months into it, but, and literally, like, it was maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was literally a conversation.
Yeah.
And this is how I feel, or this is what was happening that just didn't feel good. But we've had not hard conversations, but we've had things since then that it's just, you're not necessarily seeing eye to eye, but we can take a breath and take a beat.
Yeah.
If it's like, not right now.
Yeah.
I I've had a day, or this big thing is happening behind me, or whatever else is going on right here. I'm not able to be present for this conversation, and that's
Right.
okay too.
Yeah.
But making sure you come back to the conversation of, hey, is everything okay? Are you okay? What's going on? Because my default is to think I did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if he's having a hard day and he says it's not you, my internal voice is saying, okay, but what if it is? And he's just not telling you.
Wow.
So
And that's one of the things she told me, well, probably a couple years ago, is that because I do, like, it's just like typical men, like I shut down for a little while, and I need to go be away and like process and just get through the stuff so I can show up without exploding, not at her, but just out of emotion. And she said, look, you need to let me know, like, just let me know that it's not me. And if it is, let's talk about it, because the story I make up in my head is, and she told me, I was like, oh shit, okay, yes, got it. So, but we have that respect for each other that I need some time. Like, this isn't you, we're good, but not right now.
Yeah, I love that. So, I getting to know you a little bit there, Kirsten, with your dance and how you've used that. Mo, on the other side, you've done some really cool things. So, I want to ask two-part question here. One, give the audience and the listeners just a little bit of a vibe for what you've done in the endurance world and how you've helped athletes in coming back, right? And if you need to help build him up, if he's not doing it enough, you can help him, okay? Part of having your partner here is you talk him up. But then the second part of that question is maybe what you haven't been asked before, is what lessons have you learned in working with those athletes and in working with those vets that's helped you in your relationship that you brought there?
Yeah. So with the endurance world, I started in 2000. I started doing mountain bike racing. I've always been an athlete. I grew up in martial arts. I grew up doing any and every sport. But I started my endurance career then doing mountain bike racing. Then I started doing adventure races. That was back in the day, if you guys remember Eco Challenge or Primal Quest, when that was really big. So I did that for 10 years. And I did the 24-hour races, 30-hour races, multi-day races, transitioned into Ironman triathlons, raced that for 10 years. I've done 4 Ironmans. I can't count the half Ironmans. And then I transitioned into Spartan racing, did that for 6 years, and then went into ultra marathon, ultra rucks, did a thing called Go Ruck Selection, which more is like an homage to the Green Beret selection process. I just like to do hard things. I like to find things that most people are afraid to do and go do them. Like when I found selection, I was looking for something different because I'd been doing things for so long. And what got me was it has less than a 2% pass rate. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. So I just like to find my limit. I like to find out who I am when I'm the only person that can keep me moving. Because when you're in an Ironman, it's hard. The marathon is awful, but you can stop anytime you want to. You got all these people telling you what a good job you're doing. You can eat, you can walk, you can sit down. Selection, from the time you start to the time you finish, you're a number on your shirt, and they're doing everything humanly possible to make you quit outside of putting their hands on you. Like, you don't eat. They're like, imagine the hardest workout you've ever done for an hour. Do that on repeat for 24 hours with 2 MREs. And like literally just, they don't give a shit about you. They do, but it's their role. They have to do that. And that one was what really allowed me to find out who I was, because your entire body is going against you. All these people around you are yelling at you for 24 hours straight, like it's nonstop. And you get to find out who you are in that moment, and you get to see people break, and you get to watch these cadre, these special forces operators break these people mentally with their words. And I'm like, hell no, you're not going to get me. Like, I will die before you get me off this thing. So, and it's because when I'm done with it, there's not a drug on this planet that can match that feeling of success.
Wow.
So I just like to do it, and I like to be able to share those stories with people. Be like, man, you can do whatever you want. Does it mean it's gonna be pretty? Hell no, but you can do it. So and then I got into the tactical games, that sport in 2020, where it's a combination of live fire shooting, AR-15s, 9mm, and you're doing fitness in between. So it's also a really cool thing where you have to learn how to control your mind when your heart rate in your body and people are firing pistols and rifles all around you, and you have to be very accurate with a pistol, otherwise you lose. So that's the endurance. Yeah.
Wow, I bet you learn a lot about yourself doing something like that.
Huge. Yeah. It's fun. You know, I like to find things that challenged me. So.
Yeah. Tell us a little about what you did with the vets.
Yeah, so it was veterans and civilians. So veterans and civilians that have been affected by amputation, spinal cord injuries, Parkinson's, and stroke. And it's a 9-week program that my best friend founded, and it's still thriving today. I came on in 2016 and created the mindset side of it because we found that the way it works is it's a 9-week program. We fly people in from out of town, house them, feed them, all the things, and it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday of training. And then we take them on a big trip afterwards. Well, we didn't have the mindset side when I first started, and we got back from one of our trips, and one of our Marines called my boy DV and was like, I'm out, and he had his pistol in his hand. He was on the phone with him, and he heard him rack the pistol, and he was going to kill himself on the phone with the DV listening. And he didn't, thankfully. Got him into a treatment facility, and then that week, 2 other guys were like, hey man, we're not right. We need help. And I had been studying holistic nutrition and integrative medicine for 11 years at that time, and I was studying Deepak Chopra, I was studying Joe Dispenza, and my buddy David looked at me, he's like, bro, we got to do something. Like, you kind of know this space, like, go. And I was like, okay. So I started literally like just listening to YouTube videos, and I would go and play TD Jakes or somebody like that, and then try to come in with my own stuff. But then I went to meditation teacher training and learned meditation, breath work. Went into language reframing, which was how we met through our friends who threw that party. They had this certification. So, but that's what I started. So my legacy is the creation of that at the Adaptive Training Foundation. So I would teach the athletes. I would take them through breath work. I would take them through specific meditations, and have them tap in like, okay, what are you afraid of? Like have them create a power phrase. Well, I'm afraid of falling. Okay, well then you need to fall. We're going to make you fall, because we don't make you fall out there. What are you going to do when you're out in the world? And where else are you letting the fear hold you? So it was really cool because, you would see them they would fall. Get up. It was never like, oh my God, are you okay? Because when you treat someone broken, they act broken. When you treat someone like a victim, psychologically, that literally cements in that trauma. But if you come in and you're missing all your limbs, I'm like, hey man, what's up? What's your name? What happened? Just as a matter of fact, like, I like that shirt. And some people were like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? What are you doing? How are you working out? And it breaks down the barrier.
Like, stopping on that. You're saying asking someone with no arms and no legs, just that casually, how do you work out?
Yeah. Or like one of the stories I always tells, a guy came in, he was in a wheelchair, his wife was pushing him, and he had big legs. And anytime you see somebody in a wheelchair that has tone in their legs, they will walk. You can walk again. But every doctor and expert will tell you, because they have to, you're never going to walk again.
Whoa.
So this guy's telling me, he's like, well, I was riding my motorcycle, taking it into the shop. My wife was behind me. I wasn't wearing a helmet. It locked up and went end over end. Have a brain trauma. Part of my brain's gone. He has a big old scar. I was like, all right, can you do this with your legs? I said, yeah. I said, can you stand up out of that chair at all? Yeah, you'll walk. And he looked at me, he's like, you think so? I said, brother, I don't think shit. I promise you you'll walk. And day one, get him up out of his chair, have him use a walker. Fast forward by week 6 or 7, he's walking. Then a couple weeks after the program, probably a month or so, he sends us a video of him pushing his wife in his chair. Because that's what we do. And it's not me, it's him. All we're doing is giving him permission to actually try again. Yeah. And that's what we got to do over and over and over with people in wheelchairs that were in chairs for 15, 20 years, walking again now. Or veterans or civilians with suicidal ideations, like not wanting to kill themselves every day. So that's what I got to do with that.
That's incredible. So you believe that your core beliefs in spirituality have been able to help other people be able to walk again then?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So both of you are very spiritual individually. Coming together in a relationship, how do you find that spirituality together like synthesizes between the two of you?
That's a good question.
Synthesizes.
Damn.
I really hope that's a word.
Oh, it
They will.
It is.
Go for it. You go, then I'll go. Because yeah.
I think that's a really good question. Being able to have that type of conversation with somebody, especially the person that you love, and they're not putting it over there and saying that that's weird, you do your own thing over here in this box, I don't understand it. or I don't even want to try to understand it. There's a difference between put it over there, I don't even want to look, and I don't understand it, but I'll try to learn about it, or I'll try to understand it even though I don't.
Because I care about you.
Yeah, it's not something that I go out of my way to do. So to be with somebody who is willing to do that is huge. Whether you believe in it or not, it's almost like how he loves to do hard things. Like the things that he does, I'm like, I don't get it at all. I like to do semi-hard things, but not to that level at all. But to be able to be there to support him and just say, you do you, and I will support that.
And then understanding him better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll say this: as we met, I was starting to transition. I wanted to know more, and that's also like Mike talked about. His wife outgrew him. I was also outgrowing my wife because she was really stuck in the Christian Southern, that whole thing. I'm like, cool. I feel something more, and I know more is out there. And I started getting into plant medicine, and when we met, she was in that space as well. And but I was also like dipping my toe in. So when we met, I would go see her, and she would say, "Do you want to pull an animal card? Do you want to pull a rune?" I'm like, "Sure."
Pull a what?
I'm like, "What the? No, yes, I will, but what is this?"
What does that mean?
Exactly. I don't. I like you. Yes, that's what it was. And then so we would
Do you
pull.
want to pull an animal card? That's
Yeah,
what it is?
yeah,
Write that down on the list too.
yeah.
That's a good one.
So we start. So she, you pull this card, and it kind of gives you this little script and tells you some things about yourself, or like some things you should be aware of, or whatever. And we start doing that. And I wanted to know more about that space, and I just opened myself up to it. And it did still feel weird initially, but the more we started going in together, like we would do, some plant medicine journeys together, and just kind of like just go into it, like, hey, let's explore some stuff. We would try to have a conversation, or we would try to watch a documentary once actually, and
I think
we got like 30 seconds into it, and then realized we were talking for 90 minutes. But I was telling her, but she's the reason I am the way I am now. Like she really allowed me to crack open into what I now know is so much more vast than what we as humans think and we're programmed to believe. And I was telling her actually this past weekend, as odd as the pulling runes were, I have them tattooed on my knuckles now because of her. But this past weekend we were hanging out, and I was doing a little medicine journey myself, and she was a little bit too. And we went to sleep. And when I went to sleep, all these downloads started coming down. And I didn't do a lot. Like I've done a lot, and this was like maybe half of that. So it was really weird that this was happening.
That's a quarter.
Yeah. So, but one of the things that happened was we were watching Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. And yeah, I know, right? And at the end of the movie, I've never really watched the whole thing. And at the end of the movie, when I guess he holds the stone, and they're going through things, he's trying to explode, and he's like, grab my hand. And she grabs her hand. We're laying in bed, and this wasn't because of the movie, but that came back. I'm like, this is so cheesy that I'm going to relate what just happened to Guardians of the Galaxy. But I literally, like, we're laying in bed, our dog is in between us, and I hold her hand, I'm holding her hand, I do this. I'm like, holy shit, you're the reason I am who I am right now. Like you were that to me, because I would not have. I was stepping into the world of spirituality and trying to understand it. But growing up in Louisiana, growing up in the South, being in the South, there was no way in hell I would have opened up myself this much to what I now know if it wasn't for her.
Oh.
And I realized that Saturday night. I was like, holy shit.
Pretty cool.
I want to do this. First off, to the crowd, we've kind of kept this loose a little bit. So like when conversations are going and they're fun, like no one's kicking us out. I guess Landon, you're here. Are you kicking us out? There's Landon. He's my business partner and just involved in all this. Cool to have you here, man. Let's do this. I'm going to go like 15 minutes more. We cool with that?
Yeah.
Everything? If you want to leave, the door's that way. All right. No, here, let's do this. You've got some really cool thoughts around like keeping your relationship fun. And Mo, I know one of the things you wanted to show is like, you said, I'd be willing to do this show on the show because it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Go for it.
1, 2, 3, what's your favorite animal?
Oh God, a gorilla.
Okay, explain it.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, what's your favorite truck?
Ford. It's not. See, the thing is, like, she does this. We'll be randomly doing whatever, and she'll go, 1, 2, 3, what's your favorite? and you have to say the first thing that your mind thinks of, and it's never right. And you're like, oh, I don't want to say this, but you have to say it. We did it last night at dinner for like 45 minutes, and it was
10% right, but it's
Yeah.
so interesting what the first thing that actually, and people will say this a lot. They're like, no, go with your first choice, your first, like,
your
but-
intuition,
yeah, your
which is
intuition,
true.
your intuition, thank you, intuition is great, but you like sometimes the first thought isn't the thing that is actually your favorite or is actually the thing.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3,
you
what's your
know?
favorite movie?
It is or isn't?
No, you can't. Wrong.
that's
See, you can't think.
Brioche, what's your favorite color?
Pink. That's not it.
See?
It's
Yeah.
purple. It's
Here's the other thing. Stand up.
All right, let's see this
What's
shaking thing. Now I hear this a second. Let's get to demonstration number 2. I heard about this.
This is what we're gonna do at the conference, but I ran out of time.
Oh my gosh.
Ready?
What? What is that? Don't do that.
That was not what I was expecting. He said, "Let me do this thing." I was like, all
Do it
right.
again. Ready? Ready, go.
Okay.
It's my favorite thing.
We have a video of like I was holding her. She was like, "Do it," and I was shaking her. She's like, "Da, da, 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 da," and she's like, "Do it again." It's like I have a 7-year-old and a wife.
All right, you know what? Let's. Okay, go.
So we have a game that we like to play. It's actually my game. Just randomly, I'll be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, now pick a number, and he has to pick it in his head, and then I have to guess it. So let's play. Ready? Okay, you're gonna think of a number in your head. Ready?
Okay.
Don't say it out loud. 1, 2, 3, pick it. 4.
And that's the end of the game. That's where it
Okay,
ends.
but when you get it, you feel so good. Like you feel like
But when you get it, she's like, "I'm psychic."
you feel so connected.
What was the number?
That's the end, or it's.
Oh,
Oh, was it 6? Nope. Is it 7? Well, that's what I
Okay.
was gonna say.
What was the number?
3.
Oh,
she's close.
that was my next.
It was
I feel like yes, similarities here.
Like, just keep it fun. I think we're all a little up. You know, sometimes we can all be a little uptight. Speaking of fun, Kirsten and me and Bree, we wondered if we could get you to do this on stage, and I had a feeling it's going to be a yes. All right. I've never been a huge tattoo guy. I actually have 2 tattoos now. I never thought I would have had tattoos.
Okay.
But Mo was this guy that when I met him, I was like, I have never seen cooler tattoos on a guy.
Okay.
I was just like, this is just like artwork.
He's been
but
talking about your tattoos
here's
for a
the
while.
word intentional over and over, right? But it's just proof to me of like what you have on your body is so intentional. So here's the question. The camera's right here. Would you take your shirt off and just explain your thoughts of the tattoos? Yes. Would you do it? Okay, he's gonna do it. Is that really on there? Okay, we're like trying everything with this show. Let's do it. So, okay, here's what we want. Not
Yeah.
a ticket to the gun show, although they're free.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's weird.
But if you just talk through, like if I were to give you 3 minutes and you were to just explain the intentionality and the thoughts that go into mindset and what's on your body.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go. Bree, relax.
So, okay. So the first one. So I grew up in martial arts, and it was all about honor. So we had the 3 tenets of honor. So the first 2 I got was honor and courage in Chinese kanji, and is also representative of my parents. I have honor for my father because he passed away before I was born, and I have courage from my mother because she raised me. And she was one of the first 2 female state troopers in Louisiana. And in growing up in martial arts, I got this sleeve done. I love dragons. Dragon is also representative of Chinese culture for good luck. So it's not a traditional dragon. I had a guy freehand it, which, yeah, it's a little bit different. But then also in the Japanese culture, in the samurai culture, their kind of token flower is the cherry blossom, because they live every day to its fullest. Because the cherry blossom blooms and then it goes away. So in the samurai world, you might, if you're just walking down the road and you see another samurai, you're like, okay, let's fight, and somebody's going to die. So you have to be ready to live life to the fullest every day. And then the lotus is representative of perseverance and not giving up, because it grows out of this deep, dark muck, it then blossoms into this beautiful thing. So that's what this sleeve represents. And then as I was going through my holistic nutrition school, I learned about Gandhi and Be the Change You Wish to See. So I got Be the Change You Wish to See.
Love that.
Yeah. But Yeah,
Is that
So
a
the
spiral?
way-
Yeah.
Yeah, the way here, give it to the audience
Yeah.
a little more too. The be the change you wish to see.
yeah.
Like, isn't
And the
that
reason,
cool?
so the reason I got it like that, so if I hug you, you see it. That was the point. That was the
Aw,
intention of that one.
That's really
And then
beautiful.
with the spiral, this was actually the color of it for our nutrition school. And I started thinking about it, and I was watching. Actually, I was in Kona in Hawaii, and I was watching the waves come in and around these rock formations, and the waves would come in, and they would spiral, and they would go out, and they would spiral, and they would go out. I was like, So there's a beginning, which is life. This is where we're born, and then we spiral. This is life, and then the rest is unknown. So life is like this big circle that we get to just kind of weave and evolve through.
Life, death, and regeneration.
Yeah.
That's why I love the spiral.
Yeah.
I have that too.
Yeah, my first one is on my ankle. That was my black belt present. It's
Keep
the,
the pants on.
yeah.
Keep the pants on.
yeah. So I've got that. It says karate in Japanese, and then our karate symbol. I've got my Iron Man tattoo back here. That's the symbol with some other stuff in it. And then I got this done a while back as well. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Because again, as I was learning. I wasn't really spiritual yet, but I was going through my nutrition stuff, and I was learning, like, what you think you are, that's what you are. And I read that in a devotional one day. I was like, oh, that's exactly right. Like, whatever I think I am in here, that's exactly who I am.
Right.
So I have that on there. And then I really started getting into the earth elements, thanks to the little hippie girl here. So I was doing men's work as well before I moved here and was working with Watt and stuff. I actually did a men's program in Dallas, but it was based all around the earth elements. Because in us, we are made of the elements. We are earth, water, wind, and fire. So I would teach those elements when I would teach anything around leadership or whatever. So I wanted to get the elements tattooed on me as well, but not in the traditional symbols. So I have a waterfall, which represents water. I've got fire, obviously. I've got the mountains, which are air. And then the earth. So, and then the lion is, I was at ATF, we teach anchors, and I learned this through a neurological psychologist that was a mentor of mine that helped me go through a trauma clearing process. And that's one of the things we would teach him as well. And he would say, create an anchor. And mine was this one-eyed, scarred up lion. And I actually used it when I would race. And it was really cool because I would do races. I was actually doing one race, and I started thinking about this lion. And I looked down, and typically in this point of a race, because I raced triathlons for so long, and when you race really, really hard, really fast, I would get about 1 mile from the finish line, and I would let off the gas just a little bit, because you go so hard the whole time. And I would just dial back just a little bit so that I would have room to kick. And I started doing that in this run, and I was like, no. And my power phrase was, you've got more. So I was saying out loud, I've got more, and I started thinking about the lion. I literally turned into the lion.
Wow.
And I looked at my watch, and I was running 10 seconds faster, and my heart rate dropped. So that's the lion is my symbol. That's my anchor.
That's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
it's scarred because it's been to battle.
Yeah, it's been like, it doesn't give a shit. Like, it's going to get the job done. You know what I mean? That's the
And
whole
was that
thing.
your animal card?
No. And then, what else do I have? Oh, so then this is until Valhalla. So at ATF, like, things happen. These are all the guys we've lost at ATF in the 8 years I've been there. I actually have to put one more strike there. But second to last guy we lost, me and my best friend before his funeral were like, man, we need to do something to honor our dudes. Like, I want to do something. And we, after his service, went down and got these tattoos until Valhalla. So if anyone else goes, we're just going to keep putting strikes on. So hopefully this will be the last one for a while. But I've got 10 strikes on my arm for that.
Gosh.
And then,
How many you got?
well, I've got the runes tattooed on my knuckles. Those are symbolic of when we moved. Those just told stories of. It was literally like I pulled these specific runes, and it literally was almost verbatim of you're leaving this life, you're leaving an old life, stepping into a new life. Here's what to be cautious of. Here's what to do. It was like word for word, like an elder teaching me, and I pulled them in sequence. And the funny thing is, before we moved here from Colorado, I pulled the exact same runes in the exact same sequence.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And then,
They're about to send us to commercial. You
yeah.
got 10,
Yeah.
15
Oh,
seconds.
then I got the time is now, which is be present. This is the only time that matters. The zeros are every night. This clock strikes midnight. You have a new day. So always a new start. This is the only time that matters.
I love it. I love that. So Connor and I have a pretty cool tattoo story. The very first tattoo that Connor ever got was a spiral. And he got the spiral over his heart. And we looked at that and we were like, we looked to see the date of when he got the spiral. And he got the spiral the week of my son's passing.
Dang.
Yeah.
Because he was asking himself, what was I doing on the worst day of your life?
Mm.
And he was intentionally putting a tattoo over his heart that to me represents life, death, and regeneration.
Yeah.
Love that.
It was, well, we went and looked at the pictures, and the pictures from the day of Romeo's accident is a picture of me reading The Untethered Soul. So Michael Singer, who's my man, reading The Untethered Soul is the one, and I'm at a pool. And I'm at a pool, and then I have screenshots right next to it of the tattoo ideas. So that day of her accident, I was sitting at a pool in that mode of like really trying to figure out what I was going to get this tattoo of and really figuring that out and knowing why that meant so much to me. So yeah, kind of crazy. And then she came home from a girls' night one night and she's like, I have a spiral now. This is when we were just dating. And I'm like, I think she likes me.
Well,
Yeah,
There
she
you go.
gets spiral. And she's like, no, it means this, and that. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
I was
I have
at
a
a
spiral.
girls'
I have one
event.
tattoo.
I was at a girls' event and they were doing like pop-up tattoos and they had a little stitch sheet. And I saw the spiral and I was like, what if I came home with a spiral? And I asked my friend and she's like, Connor's totally obsessed with you. He's gonna love it. And so I got it and yeah.
I thought it was a good sign. All right. Okay, let's wrap up with this. We got to hear about the Viking wedding. So obviously you guys are interesting. You're intentional about everything you do. You're not just going to go down and have some wedding that's just because we're told this is how it's done. Like you thought about us. Give us the thought process through it and tell us a little bit about the night or the day.
And let's pull up the picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Swedish and Scandinavian descent. Everything in my history and
Yeah, me too. Swedish.
yeah, yay, power. Is Germanic tribes. Like all of that is very northern. So that's my heritage. But then you had a experience with the boys.
Oh yeah. So that's my best friend. Me, him, and another one of our best friends were out in my backyard while she was out. She was actually working for Beast at the time, so she was in North Carolina. We were doing a little mushroom journey in my backyard, and I was over the corner, and it just came to me, and I walked over and was like, "I'm going to propose to Kirsten," and they're like, "Oh my God, you thought we were three girls?" Like it was just they were so excited for me. So then they were like, "It's going to be a Viking wedding. You're going to do it in the mountains." Like they literally like they said, "It's going to be a Viking wedding. You're going to have furs. We're going to do it in the mountains." I'm like, "We're living in Texas." I'm like, "Yeah, this is what we're going to do." We moved to Colorado. We got married in the mountains in Viking gear.
Whoa.
That is so
Yeah.
cool. So cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what was different about that? Like how did you do the ceremony?
We had so we had both of our bow and arrows on each side, so that was kind of representing just the different, just how different we wanted to be and how we are, and bringing some of our personality into that. We asked the guests. We said you can either come as you normally would go to a wedding, or you can get all decked out as a Viking yourself. And then one of my best friends, Jera, who I met her the same night I met Mo, second wife. She is a beautiful, beautiful writer and wrote, usually in a Viking marriage, you pass each other the family sword. We don't have swords, but we had arrows. And so before that, she had come in and she was there for like a week before, and she took us each into a store separately to buy the arrow. And so she read this beautiful, beautiful writing and then had us exchange arrows.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we only had anyone who was at that wedding had something to do with our relationship.
Right.
So-
You had your friend officiate the wedding, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's no other human that would do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So and because he knows me so well.
And he's the one who you did all of that
Yeah, he was the founder. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And he knew her so well, and that's who we wanted to marry. It's like we didn't want someone just come up and do some, vanilla. Hey, here's these. You don't know us. So everything was very intentional. The people that were there were intentional, and it was really cool because we had two groups of friends that didn't know each other. But by the time it was over, everybody was like locked and loaded together. Like everyone came together. And that's one of the things they kept saying to us was like, "Man, y'all have some really good friends." And we're like, "You're right, we do." we're really we're very intentional about who we pick to be in our circle. There's no surface level bullshit. Like we're all, we know each other very, very well. It was just a beautiful melding of these humans together. That was the beauty of the whole thing. Like this was amazing. But us being able to have our friends witness it and it be a whole 3 day deal. And same thing, like we got married the day before we met as well. We were gonna do it on New Year's Eve, but we
Oh,
couldn't.
on the date.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
same
On the
day
date,
before
yeah.
you met. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
So-
sweet. And you have a moonstone wedding ring.
I do. I
love
do.
That.
Yep.
Yeah.
Twitty.
You love it.
Powers unite.
I love just from the meeting and then hearing your background all the way through this, it aligns and it's really cool. And you can't, one of the things that I'm excited about and that we're excited about with this show is you can't fake chemistry. You can't fake a dynamic, right? And especially I think so many people that we follow online or know one of them, right? And it's gonna be cool to see what is the relationships like? How do they talk? And just, it's fun. So I appreciated that tonight. Let's do your gift in just a second. Let's do the WTF minute. So I actually forgot to do this to our guests earlier. Mike, if you want to do this in a second, we can. But we believe in the law of abundance. So for anyone that comes on and really pours into our community, we want to give them the chance to pour for us to pour into whatever they're doing, right? So we do it kind of fun. Today's day and age, you got to be able to get it out fast. Our attention spans aren't very long, so we put 60 seconds on the clock, and we give you just 60 seconds to tell us about whatever you're doing, how people can connect with you, or be a part of whatever it is that you're building. And you're a cool couple that you both have your separate stuff, so we are going to have both of you do it individually. Who wants to go first? Oh,
You're up
Bree, I like this. You timing it.
Okay, I'm
You
gonna
time
time
it.
it.
Mo's going first. Oh, this is his logo
Do I
behind
stand
you
up?
here. You can stay sitting down, but just look right in that
Okay.
camera right there. This is going to be a reel that
Okay,
we
you have
post on
60
WTF later on, 60 seconds.
Ready and go.
All right, so my company is called Stay Ready, the Stay Ready movement. So what I've created is a way of training and being that keeps you ready for anything at any time under any circumstance. So I train you for power, for endurance, for mobility. But the beautiful thing I also train you with is mindset. So we go through breath work, we go through meditations. So whether you want to do a Spartan race, an Ironman, a trail run, or if a life event happens to you, you're ready for it. And that's the whole point of it. Because we know so many people that are good at being strong or they're good at endurance, but they're not good at both. And in life, you have to be good at everything or you're not going to be good at anything. And that's what the Stay Ready movement's about.
We're done in 35 seconds. Okay.
Awesome. I've done mobility and breath work and all sorts of things with Mo, and there's a grounded nature to you that it inspires confidence in other people.
And I watched it not only happen with me, but for other people. So absolutely, I would tell you to go check that out. Good work, Kirsten.
Ready?
You're
It's really
next.
hard to follow.
No.
No,
If
but
you need to stand up and dance, or do whatever you want to do, you can.
do a little jig.
That's right.
Okay, ready and go.
So School of Badassery is for women to understand who they are under all of the programming, the conditioning, the masks, the roles, come back to themselves and actually remember who they are at the core, outside of being a mom, outside of being a business person, outside of whatever those roles are. But we do it with grit and grace. We don't have to choose a side. We don't have to be too far in our masculine or too far in our feminine. You can find your own ingredients in this dance within that. We do breath work, we do meditation, we do somatic release through dancing and movement. It's all about understanding your body and building that relationship with yourself so that you can expand outwards and affect the little girls who are watching you, or the women who are watching you, the people who are in your circle, and even outside of that circle, to change the landscape of future history for women.
Whoa! At 57 seconds. Is that a women's group or is it a school?
Yeah, it's School of Badassery, and then the membership is House of Grit and Grace.
Very cool.
There's also going to be a self-defense component to it.
Yes.
Self-defense too.
As advertised tonight, is this a cool couple? Yes. All right. You have a gift
Oh, yes.
here at the end for Kirsten.
Yes, I have a butterfly for you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I love it. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys opening up about your stories. We didn't get to go too far into your story, but you are one of the coolest woman I've ever met, especially with what I said earlier. I feel like you just are yourself so powerfully. That's why when you're talking about your school that you're doing, I'm like, you are the person to do that. Like, you just totally embody who you are. So I hope that butterfly can be another embodiment of that for you.
She brings it out in people. That's her gift.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
This is so fun.